What's up, Michigan fans? Welcome back to the Maize and Bluebeard podcast, where we talk all things Michigan football, basketball, and all sports. I'm Chris. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. We got a lot to get to, as you can see, so let's go blue, and let's get to it. Recently, Chris Balas from the Wolverine, which if you are not following the Wolverine, you need to check it out. It's fantastic. It'll be linked in the description down below. But Chris Balas reported that one of his sources had some pretty awesome things to say, and I'm going to tell you about them now. So first of all, he talked about what this source said on staff about Kyle Whittingham and how impressed they were with him and especially with his organization. They talked about how he was even more organized than Jim Harbaugh, which is pretty awesome to hear. They said that he surrounded himself with great staff, and it's just been impressive to see them get to work and go after it, and that they all have a common goal, which is winning national championships, Big Ten championships, and they're just all on board and all on the same mindset, which is awesome to see. So you love hearing that how organized he is, because our last coach was not very organized. So that is fantastic to hear. They talked about how Dave Peloquin, who has not been officially announced, but he's been in the building for several days already, hard at work, getting going, grinding, getting things done. And they talked about how he's a great hire, how he's a hard worker, and they can already tell that he's going to be a great fit at Michigan and with that staff in harmony together. But he also talked about some position group stuff as well. But before I get into that, they gave an injury update, which sounded pretty awesome. They talked about how John Henry Daly was doing great in his injury. His injury was going fantastic. His injury progress, recovery was going fantastic, and that he was on pace to be prepared and ready to go for the season. So that's awesome to hear. Same was said about Rod Moore, that his injury and everything, progress is going great. His recovery, he should be ready to go. And Andrew Babaloa should be ready to go for the season as well. So those were all great updates to get injury-wise. Could not ask for better news than that. And finally, they broke down position by position, and there was just a couple that I wanted to share with you. What I liked hearing was they talked about linebacker, which I keep talking about it. It's a position that I actually think could end up being a strength down the road. And that I think there's a lot of talent there that we just need to see on the field. And this is what that source said, kind of the talk is about these linebackers. They said Nathaniel Owusu-Boateng has done a nice job when he was in there. He'll be a really positive add. He just needs to get experience. And they also think Nate Stalling can be a Cole Sullivan-like player. Not the high-end ceiling Sullivan has, but he can have that same type of production on the field that Sullivan had for us. And then they said this about Troy Bowles. They said he may not have the highest ceiling, such as Chase Taylor and Boateng having higher ceilings, but Troy Bowles is putting the work in. Don't discount his football IQ. He plays quick, and he can diagnose plays very well. And then they talked about Jair Hill, and they said he's having a great offseason and that he has first-round potential. It's all about consistency. If he can play every rep with the focus and intensity of his best reps, he can be one of the best corners in the country. So those are just a lot of awesome little nuggets that came from some of these sources inside the program, just talking about how great things are going, how the hires that Kyle Whittingham has made have been great fits, and they're all just hitting the ground running, working hard. They're all excited. They're on the same page. There's harmony between all of them. There's no drama. And it just sounds fantastic. And you just hear these interviews of the coaches, you hear behind the scenes, and it just gets you pumped because, yes, until we see it on the field, we don't know how it's going to play out, but it already feels different. And it's just exciting. It's exciting to know that there's people there that have experience, that have talent, that have all this football knowledge, and they're all on the same page. They're not fighting with each other. They have a common goal to get better, win championships, and to do it quick. And between that and the talent they've brought in and the ability to coach up players, like, it's just a great combo. And I just eat this stuff up. Just spoon feed it to me. I love hearing it. So hopefully that was great for you to hear as well. But again, down in the description, you can find a link to the Wolverine. I love following Wolverine on 3. Chris Balas, all the guys there, they're awesome. So check it out. But it was great to hear this, and it gets me excited. Now, some exciting recruiting news. We've been talking a lot about really highly thought of wide receivers that Michigan was going after. But there's a new one to add to the mix, and this one may be, and Michigan may have the best chance to get this one of them all. Michigan offered 4-star wide receiver from Alabama, Deshaun Hall, stud receiver, looks fantastic. Watch his highlights, his film. He looks great. And there's a lot of things to like about him. Number one, of course, he's great. Number 195 player overall. Number 25 receiver as of right now in the class. He is a 4-star. He's 6'6", 190 pounds. So he's a big old receiver, and he's still got another year to grow. Last year as a junior, he caught 40 passes for over 600 yards. 40 passes for over 600 yards and 5 touchdowns. So he had a great year, and he's still got his senior year to come. But here is the best part. He is excited because he is a lifelong Michigan fan. His dad's from Michigan. He grew up watching Michigan, rooting for Michigan, and he is ecstatic to get an offer from Michigan. He's going to be visiting in April, and hopefully this can be one of those things where he visits and it just confirms everything for him. He loves the staff, loves the school, and then his lifelong fandom combines with that, and he signs on the dotted line to go to Michigan. So this is one to keep an eye on. This guy's a freak. He's awesome. I'm really excited that they offered him. He's definitely one to keep an eye on. 6'6", come on. And he's still growing. Fantastic. Now it's time to talk some other sports at Michigan. And first up, big win for the women's basketball team. They started off their Big Ten tourney run. They were number 3 seeded in the conference tournament, so they earned the triple bye. And their first game was against 11 seed Oregon last night, and they dominated. They won 80-58. Sila Swords had 17 points and 8 rebounds. Olivia Olson had 10 points and 6 rebounds. Ashley Sofilkinich had 14 points and 6 rebounds. And Kendall Dudley had 10 points off the bench. Mila Holloway, their point guard, almost had a double-double, or would have been her first of her career. She had 9 points, 10 rebounds. 9 points and 10 assists. Let's see. And that was the first time a Michigan player had double-digit assists in 3 seasons. So congrats to Mila Holloway. Michigan will now face number 2 seed Iowa today at 4:30 in a huge game. And then if they can win that, they'll head to the championship game tomorrow. So root on those Wolverines from the women's basketball team. Big game today. After a great, huge win where they blew Pepperdine out of the water on Thursday, Michigan kind of came back down to earth, and they lost a tough one, 9-8 to Pepperdine yesterday. They'll wrap up the series today at 5 p.m. and hopefully win the series. And Michigan fell to 7-6, so if they can get back a couple games above 500 later today when they play Pepperdine. Michigan's softball team was able to defeat Bryant. They won by a score of 7-1. They moved to 19-6, and they'll have their next game will be next weekend as they return to action and start their Big Ten play as they'll take on Nebraska on the road in Lincoln, Nebraska. So get excited for Big Ten to play starting in softball. Now it's time for the question of the day results from yesterday when I asked, what will be Michigan's first play of the season? You could choose from a run up the middle, a play action pass, an RPO play, or something else. Results are in, and here they are. As you can see here, it was close, one of our closest ones we've had for a while, but just barely edging out RPO was run up the middle. But then not far behind that was play action pass. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. Now, if this was Jim Harbaugh or Sharon Moore, you would know it's going to be a run up the middle. But it would be nice to see them mix it up, do a play action and go deep to one of their new receivers, or to let us see how this new RPO offense is going to go with Bryce Underwood and have him make a big play. Maybe they'll go all out and do a wide receiver screen or a flea flicker or something like that. But I think that it'll be something interesting. I would be surprised if it's just a run of the middle, but I guess who knows? We'll see. It would be awesome if it's not a run of the middle, but that is what we are accustomed to. So time will tell. Remember, I ask a question of the day every day. So if you didn't vote today, go vote now. That's going to do it for this episode of the Maize and Bluebeard podcast. Thanks again for hanging out with me. As always, if this is your first time here and you had a good time, please consider subscribing. We're on our way to 1,000. We have less than 250 to go. And then you will get to see on a live stream celebration, my beard dyed maize and blue. And if this isn't your first time here, I appreciate your support. Be sure to like, as always, share, and comment. I respond to them all. So I'll see you down in the comments. And I'll see you in the next video. And until I do, as always, go blue.